Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update here on Thursday the 7th of March. Fairly quiet day on the US markets, at least on the S&P 500. It closed up 0.5%, but still it's within this range. We still have this, and let me highlight a little bit more, this what we call a gravestone doji-like candle. Ideally, the shadow or the wick should be a little bit taller than it actually is, but still, nevertheless, it does look like a top and reversal pattern unfolding. It is not yet confirmed. I need a close below 5,030 for potential correction to unfold. Nasdaq 100. Still above the 17,808. Keep an eye on that support level. On the European markets, we have the EUROSTOXX 50 still holding on. It is below the rising trend line here, but I wouldn't be too worried at the moment. We are still in a bullish trend, and we need to close this gap before we are seeing a larger correction. But it is quite stretched. But for now, the trend is still fairly bullish. But be cautious. DAX stalling a little bit, trading sideways after this negative candle we have up here. A little bit of a top and reversal indication could be. But let's see. We should keep an eye on it. I wouldn't say anything definite at the moment. Still, I believe that the markets in general they are topping in this first week of March, and at least short term, and we should see a correction across the board. AEX Amsterdam. Up there yesterday, but still was struggling to move past these 861, and that is the level to break for further upside potential. And you need the RSI back above the falling trend line right there. CAC 40. Sideways range trading. We have this gap area here that it should stay above, and also preferably above the rising trend line. But the key level is 7,875 and 7,812. This gap area that should be observed. Swiss market tried to push higher yesterday, a little bit lower this morning, but there is potential to around the 11,660. 16 area where we have some strong resistance, and it goes actually all the way. Let's have a look. Actually go back to this peak area here back in May last year, and that's where it comes from. But it's really struggling at the moment, but we are in a positive trend and positive sentiment, so we should see it testing it, but then it does look a little bit stressed at the moment. On the FX side, euro-dollar is currently testing the 109 key resistance, and it did touch. You can see the cloud here, and that's what you can use the cloud for. You don't need to think about all the other moving areas that much. The cloud is the most interesting part. I just have it on as a bit of a guide, really, and to see where there's some resistance and support areas. But yes, a euro-dollar, it didn't actually close above. It was just below the 109, so that is really key. We should actually just adjust this a little bit, so like that, because that's actually where the level is 109. But we got the RSI back above 60, so we're actually in a positive sentiment. So I do believe we will see euro-dollar moving higher in coming days and weeks, but it is still struggling a little bit. But we had the 100 moving average that crossed over the 200. They're both ascending, so we should see euro-dollar high. But we have the 55, so it's dragging a little bit on it here. So it's not a slam dunk, and it is struggling a little bit for upside momentum. But I do believe we'll see it. Maybe we should have a little bit of correction down here to 108.50 level before next push. Cable touched the. Let's see, we have it here. Touch the 786 retracement of this, little negative sideways-ish trend, really a lot of volatility, but it actually touched it smack on, but actually I expected to touch the 127.75, which is the key resistance. I think it will be tested. We have the RSI back above 60, so it's confirmed in a positive sentiment. We should see cable moving higher in coming days, sterling dollar here. We also have the 100 moving average very close to crossing over the 200, and they are both rising, so that is what we call a gold cross in the making. We have the dollar yen that broke below the 149.20. It was mentioned also in my update yesterday, and also in my written technical piece on dollar yen, that we should observe this support here. We are now reached the 61.8 retracement, 147.80. I think we will find a little bit of support. We also have our RSI testing at the moment. Currently at the moment we are below 40. Let's see if it actually does close below 40. If it does, well, then there could be further downside potential to 146.90 level, possibly down all the way to 146 and a little bit lower maybe. This is the really key strong support here, where we also have the 200 coming up. So it seems to be sold off violently, but let's see. I think it will pause a little bit, at least short term. Euro yen did contrary to what I actually did expect, and that was a move higher. So I think we'll remove this one so we could just get a clear view of what's going on, and then we could add this little retracement here and see, okay, we actually reached half of the uptrend. I think we will see a dip down to the 61.8 and 160 and a quarter, around that level, where we also have the 55 and the 100 moving coming up. So there's actually some support there. I don't think we will see it lower than that. We could even see it bouncing from this support where we are just below 169. Aussie yen not being hit that hard, still above the support here at the 97.35, which is also half of 50% of this uptrend here, and we have the 55 moving average coming out, giving some support. And I also think that we will see RSI bouncing off 40 if it even being tested. If we do see a break below, we could see a move down to around the 61.8 retracement at 96.86 level, and it's not unlikely. Usually FX markets, they do retrace or correct 61.8, sometimes 78.60 in these levels. Sometimes we do see it only 50%, but I would say 61.8 is usually one of the most traded ones, or most hit retracement levels. Here we have sterling yen also dipping lower, support at 187.86. If we do break below that, well, then we can see a move lower towards, let's see, we can also add a little bit of a retracement there. So we actually have just below here, the way we have 61.8, we could see it dip down to 786 retracement at 186 and a change. And we actually do have a little bit of a double top pattern here, and that actually gives us potential down to around this level, where we also have the 55 moving average coming up. Dollar Canada has broken below and closed below yesterday. It's a lower rising trend line, hovering around just below the 100 moving average. The 200 moving average here will give some support, which is just around 134.77 level. Key support at 134.41, where we also have the 55 moving average coming out. So I don't think we will see it breaking below that level. If it does, then we'll also see RSI below 40, and then we have a completely different situation with lower levels to follow. I think we will see a bounce from this area here. And Aussie dollar also moved yesterday and this morning, pushing higher. I have removed all this shoulder pattern because I think it's obsolete now. We're not paying attention to that anymore. We're pushing higher. 66 and a quarter, that's the level to look out for. If it does close above that, then I'll expect Aussie dollar to move higher towards 67, 40, 50 level right there. But we have the 55 moving average coming down, kind of putting a lid on, and we still don't have the RSI closing above 60. We need that for further upside potential. Finally, the dollar index did touch both this morning and yesterday. We can see how it actually touched the 38.2 retracement, which is right here, and also the support 103.12. We have the 55 moving average giving some support, so a little bit of a bounce could be seen, but I think in general it will move lower in coming weeks. Gold is pushing higher, and if you check out my piece yesterday, where I say we could actually see gold towards 2,400, not in the coming days, but I think we'll see it pushing towards the 21.95, just below 2,200 here, possibly next week. It's always difficult to predict how fast something is moving. At the moment, it's moving fairly fast, but these projection levels is derived from taking the difference or distance between the peak here and the trough here, and say this is the trading range. It was actually that's the overall picture, but it's actually a little bit more narrow, so it could be that it doesn't really materialize to show, move all the way up there. But I have just, as you can see, illustrated by the arrows here, I just said, okay, maybe that's the trading range we're going to see in coming weeks towards 2,200 and possibly higher. Silver also moved and has confirmed uptrend, closing above the horizontal moving average here, which is the cloud area. So we are in a bullish trend, supported by positive sentiment. There should now be room up to around 25.5, 26, where we see some strong resistance there on silver. Also Palladium. This is the Palladium future. Massive move yesterday, took out the resistance right around the 1,000 level, just about that. And what it actually does look like, this could be a shoulder, this could be the head, and this could be another shoulder, and we have a neckline here. So maybe we have an inverted shoulder head shoulder pattern, and that actually gives potential up to around 1150, maybe a little bit higher. And that will be interesting the next couple of days. I think we'll see that. We have the RSI back above 60, so it's in positive sentiment. Potential higher, just need to get it back above the cloud. Platinum not really doing much, maybe it warming up to something, but it is under pressure. We have the all moving averages declining, so it's really not that convincing. On the oil market, we saw WTI spiking above again 79, 77 here yesterday, but closed back below, so it's still struggling. We are in an uptrend, but it's not the strongest one. And on the crude oil, doesn't really do much. It's just trading sideways. It needs to break above 84.75. Finally, we have on the US Treasuries. It actually closed below 411, minor support, but it is was caught by the 55 moving average, as you can see here, coming up. So I think we will see a bounce back to this area around 415, 420 possibly. We still are in a positive sentiment on the RSI. Didn't close below 40. If it does and take out the 407 here, then suddenly we're looking at 4% again. But let's see. There could be some decision makings here. We have ECB coming out later today with some rate decision. Maybe that could move it a little bit. I know this is the US, but still, let's see. All right, that's all for today. That's a long one. Sorry about that. Lots to talk about. Have a nice day and happy trading.